Welcome to Monterrey in Mexico for the 2019 FIBA World Cup qualifier between Mexico and Uruguay. For Uruguay, their hopes of making it to the World Cup finals in China later this year are still very much alive, but they'll need to win both the remaining games to secure that place. Here's our schedule across the final qualification window here in Group E. Our game here, Mexico-Uruguay, finishes off the first round of games before Monday's final trio of games will complete this qualification group. Here's the standings that stand at the moment. Argentina and USA qualified. Uruguay and Puerto Rico will fight it out for that final automatic qualification place, which is currently up for grabs. Also remember that the best fourth place team in the Americas will also qualify. To give you some kind of idea, Uruguay would secure a spot in the World Cup if they win against Puerto Rico in Group E, but a win against Mexico would suffice if they can win the tiebreaker against Puerto Rico and Puerto Rico lose against Argentina. Alternatively, they could get there through the best fourth placed position as well. Uruguayans are being introduced to the crowd in the arena at the moment, and they've been strong throughout qualification. High-tempo, physical brand of basketball that they display has disrupted plenty of their opponents, that's for sure. And the last time these two met, Uruguay came out with a tough-fought three-point win. They'll be hoping to replicate that again here this evening. And can they make it to the World Cup finals? It would be the first time since 1986 if they're able to do that. The next 4 days will provide us with that answer. The home team are now going to be introduced to the crowd here in the arena, and the noise levels increase. There were some high hopes for Mexico's going into these qualifiers, but it hasn't really gone to plan. Mid-campaign coaching change with Coach Diniz taking over hasn't quite been enough to rescue things. Their early win against the USA was very, very impressive, but has ultimately been in vain. They're currently on a 5-game losing streak, so I'm sure they'd love to snap that here tonight. It's a real opportunity for the Mexican team to regain some of that confidence and to leave the 2019 FIBA World Cup qualifiers on a high, give them some momentum entering into their next international games. It'll be a big ask tonight. Uruguayans know so much is at stake. Moments away from the start of the game here, but as usual on the international stage, we'll have the national anthems for both countries before we have tip-off, and I will go silent to respect those anthems. Wonderful renditions there of both national anthems, setting the scene for what should be an exciting 40 minutes of international basketball action here. Monterrey will provide the backdrop for what could be quite a physical battle on the hardwood. Both teams just trying to complete their preparations as we have a look at our officials. Roberto Oliveras, Rodrigo Mesa and Felipe Barrera from Venezuela, Colombia and Chile respectively. That's our officials team for this evening. And as we enter the final stages of the warm-up for both teams, their minds will be fully focused on the job in hand now for the Uruguayans. Here is the roster, and it really is hard to look past the 1-2 combo of Batista and Fittipaldo. They average over 30 points and 13 rebounds per game combined. And you expect them to have a big day here today if Uruguay are going to come away with a win. Here's your starting five: Fittipaldo, Calfani, Barrera, Batista and Parodi. Pretty strong starting five with plenty of experience, in particular plenty of games under their belts in these qualifiers. And that has been one of the keys for Uruguay. Plenty of players coming back playing every game. Here's a Mexican roster for you. We've got 5 players making their first appearance in these World Cup qualifiers, and it's providing an opportunity for some of the under-radar players to stake a claim potentially to future national team call-ups. Here's your starting 5. We have Álvarez, we have Machado, Benitez, Zezata and Martínez. That's your starting 5 for Mexico. And Coach Mañano knows how important this is, not just for him, not just for the players, but for Uruguay as a whole. They haven't been to the World Cup final since 1986. They've been there 7 times. They've not made it onto the podium previously, but just making it back would be a huge achievement for them. And Coach Diniz for Mexico took over halfway through this qualification campaign. He'll still be wanting to find an identity, impose a bit of a culture of his own on the team. And these last 2 qualifying games give him that opportunity, as well as looking at some of the new talent within Mexican basketball. And he'll already have his mind on the next qualification campaign that they'll have to undertake, the next tournament play that they'll be part of. And he'll already be building his roster in his mind for that, no doubt. Remember, the best way to stay up to date with all this World Cup basketball that's going on across the globe is with the FIBA World Cup app. It's available on iOS and Android. It'll bring you all the latest news, the stats, as well as highlight videos. Make sure you download it now. Jump onto your smartphone or your tablet and download it straight away. It will bring you a huge amount of detail on these qualifiers and really get you behind the scenes and into the nitty-gritty of what has been a great introduction to a new competition system for these World Cups. Fans getting to see their teams playing more often than ever before on home soil. That surely can't be a bad thing, and it certainly can't. As you see, the crowds have been packing in across the world. Plenty of sold out arenas and plenty of highlight plays for them to be enjoying. Just moments away now from the opening tip here in Monterrey. As we wait for the Uruguayan players just to make it onto the floor. Interesting to see how the Mexicans approach this one. Plenty of new faces in the Mexican roster. Plenty of points to prove for some of their players. Some of the bigger names are missing, but it just provides that opportunity for players to stake a claim either to more call-ups or to maybe a bigger part of the rotation in Coach Deniz's mind. And that man there will play his part, Esteban Batista, one of the iconic Uruguayan players in these qualifiers. He'll go up against Benitez for the opening tip. Here we go in Monterrey. This World Cup qualifier between Mexico and Uruguay is underway. Martínez now hands it back. Little weave at the top for Mexico to start things off. Machado comes back out. Good quick ball movement here by the Mexicans. Álvarez feeds Benitez in the low post. Goes to the corner for the three. Oh, lovely way to start the game. Machado has the opening three of the game. That'll settle some Mexican nerves and potentially rattle a few Uruguayan nerves. Fittipaldo drives down the lane. Little scoop off the glass is good, and it's great to see both teams on the score sheet nice and early. Álvarez to Benitez. Back to Álvarez. Tries to fire it inside. A little bit too much heat on that one. And unable to hold on to it, Martínez. Fittipaldo feeds Batista in the low post. I have a feeling he's going to want to go to work against Benitez, but for once he's being matched with body size. Corner shot is no good for Uruguay, and Mexico will bring it back. They seem to have a bit of urgency about them. It's good to see. They're not going to roll over. Benitez now looking for the pass. Hands it off to Álvarez. Shot clock down to 7. Martínez fakes a three, drives inside. He's going to float the right hand off the glass. A bit too heavy with that one, and Batista will pull down the board for Uruguay. And Calfani is fouled by Zatti. His first game in these qualifiers. Plays for Ángeles de Pueblo in the Mexican League. The young big man looking to stake a claim maybe to some future international call-ups. Fittipaldo now goes behind the back, almost loses his footing. Shot clock down to 6. Mexican defense is doing very well so far. Pulls the trigger on an early three and comes up with all air. Maybe the nerves are playing its part for the Uruguayans. Álvarez now brings it up over the half for Mexico. Zatti comes back now. Good ball movement here by the Mexicans. They're pretty patient. Silly foul for Parodi. Shot clock was down to 6. The Mexicans were a long, long way from the basket. Nothing really happening for them. He gave them a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card there. Shot clock will reset to 14 on that foul. Benitez looks to inbound it. I'm surprised referees didn't call out the fact that Batista was all over the sideline, encroaching onto Benitez's space to pass the ball in. Zatti called for the foul. That's his second foul already. Inexperienced play by the big man. He's probably going to earn him a spot on the bench pretty soon. Parodi now inside. Batista comes back out, hands it off, but the Mexican defense, oh, lovely pass. Oh, big rejection from Benitez. Their defense is on fire at the moment for the Mexicans. Not quite working as well on the other end as Machado is unable to hold on to that transition pass. Low scoring affair over 3 minutes in, and the Mexicans 3, Uruguay 2. To be expected, I suppose. So much on the line for Uruguay, and the Mexicans hustling hard. Parodi, nice pass into the corner. Short with the shot though. Wonderful vision from Parodi. Álvarez hits the three. Big shot. Víctor Álvarez with the triple. The young guard, only playing his second qualifier. Only scored 4 in that first one. Baseline drive from Batista. Hands it off to Barrera. Barrera comes back out to the top. Uruguayans move the ball well, but it's got slightly stuck, but they're not going to complain as Luciano Parodi secures a big 3. And so far, we've scored more 3s than we have anything else. Benitez now hands it off to Zassati, and it's going to be called a double dribble or a carry. He's not had the best of starts to the game. 2 fouls and a turnover. And Uruguay will be keen to get their first lead of the game. We're over 4 minutes in. And they'll have wanted to try and control this one from start to finish, and it hasn't gone that way so far. Fittipaldo now. Foul's going to be called. Oh, I think that might be on Zassati again, and that's certainly going to send him to the bench. That'll be his 3rd foul of the game, and we're only 4.5 minutes in. Another silly foul. Wasn't going to achieve anything, reaching in and pulling on the player like that. That sent him to the bench. Fittipaldo now drives down the lane, skips it back out to Parodi. Short with the 3, and rebound falls into the hands of Martínez. To Álvarez, back to Martínez. Benitez, little fake drives inside, left hand float, it's going to come up short. Not sure what's been called, but a whistle's been blown. Let's have a quick look. I think Calfani's going to be called for the foul. Well, that one's on Barrera actually. Benitez back at the line. Just a 67% shooter before tonight's game. Comes up short with them both. Shake of the head from the big man. Nice drive inside, but too heavy-handed from Gustavo Barrera for Uruguay. And the stuttering start continues into the second half of this first quarter. Álvarez now to Benitez. Let's see who will take control of this game, because it really is demanding that someone secures control. The long shot is good to go from Lucas Martínez. Another 3, and the Mexicans can only score 3s at the moment. Hit 3 triples in the opening 5.5 minutes. Good ball movement into the hands of Batista. He's going to go to work against Benitez. Little shoulder shake. Gets his space against the baseline, and you can't afford to let Esteban Benitez that close to the basket. He is going to make you pay pretty much every time if you let him secure himself a position that low. Álvarez now. Oh, nice quick pass. Wonderful quick passing here. Álvarez wide open for the 3. Nails another one. And the Mexicans have taken a 5-point lead early in this critical World Cup qualifier. Parodi to Batista. Lovely passing here from Uruguay. No joy for the 3 though, but it comes out to Fittipaldo. Will take his chance and nails the 3. Some pretty strong perimeter shooting here from both teams in this opening quarter. Álvarez, Benitez, off the glass for 2. Mexican lead is back out to 4. A little over 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Foul's going to be called. I think that one's going to be on Ábalos. Benitez will go to the bench. He's certainly done a good job in the first almost 7 minutes of action. Pasos will come into the game for Uruguay as well, as Esteban Batista goes to the bench. Cafani now to Parodi. Parodi for the mid-range jumper, and you just can't give him that space. That's automatic for him from that distance with that amount of space and time to set himself. Long shot is no good this time for Mexico. It's going to stay in their possession as they put enough pressure on Barrera to knock it out of bounds. Álvarez will inbound for the Mexicans. Goes long this time to Machado. Estrada kicks it back out to Machado. Uruguay will come away with the ball though and potentially secure their first lead of the game if they can hit a three, or at least tie it up. Fittipaldo floats inside, skips it out. Ball just seems to get stuck for the Uruguayans at the moment. Parodi hits the three though, and that's the first lead of the game for Uruguay. An important score for the Uruguayans. Estrada now at the top. He'll change of direction with the fake and runs into a brick wall, but the foul has been called. Barrera's going to argue the case, but the foul is there on the books now. Mexicans and Uruguayans are going to make some changes. Machado goes to the bench for Mexico. Maya inbounds it. Sees his first action of the game. Baseline drive. Hands it off. Foul is committed. He'll earn himself a trip to the line. Maya with the nice assist. Comes on and makes something happen straight away. Always good to see from a bench player. Aguirre is going to be called for the foul. As Camacho will go to the line. His first game in these qualifiers. 29-year-old power forward. Plies his trade in the Mexican League for Eliminatorias. Drives to the basket, off the glass, nice play. Not the easiest of shots, drew the body contact, fading away. Uses the glass well though. Mexico take the lead back. Foul's going to be called. This time I think it's going to be an Avalos. That'll be his second foul of the game. Uruguay will make a change. You can almost feel it in the crowd here in the arena. A slight nervous anticipation. Obviously the Mexican team can't qualify for the World Cup finals now, but plenty of pride in Mexican basketball. They're not just going to let Uruguay come in here and roll over them. They're certainly going to put a stiff test in front of Uruguay here today. Villanueva, Camacho, Estrada. And they are moving the ball well, the Mexicans. They just don't have that direct offense as of yet. They're taking tough shots like that one. As Avalos can't quite find the range. Vidal now. Hands it back to Barrera. Barrera moves it to the wing to Parodi, who hasn't quite found his form from range as of yet. 7 3-pointers been scored in this first quarter though between the two teams as we're in the final minute. Estrada is off target, as is Villanueva. And Uruguay happy to play a slow pace. It has been seen from them for a fair bit of these qualifiers. They're quite happy to run half-court offenses. Aguirre for three is off target this time. Camacho will grab the rebound for Mexico. They'll slow it down. They'll look to take the final shot of the opening quarter. Waiting for the screen to come up. Estrada now is a little bit locked in. Oh, lovely cut to the basket. And Colmeyer will get the score. That's a strong way to finish the first quarter for Mexico. With 10 minutes completed, the Mexicans lead this one 19-16 over Uruguay. A very, very strong 10 minutes on both ends of the floor for Mexico there. Slightly going against the expectations in the form book. Can they carry it on for the remaining 30? Welcome back to Monterrey in Mexico for this World Cup qualifier between Mexico and Uruguay. 10 minutes gone and the Mexicans lead by 3. It really has been an impressive shooting display from the perimeter by both teams. Heavily reliant on that perimeter at the moment. Mexico are 4 from 6 from range. Uruguay 3 from 10. Plenty of points coming from range. Maybe the key to this game will actually be not who wins the shootout, but who starts to dominate inside. Close opening quarter for Mexico. Camacho, Machado, Martínez all on 3 points, but Álvarez leads them with 6 points to his name. Parodi is leading all scorers. He's played every second of the game so far. He's got 8 points chalked up on the box score already. Just behind him is Fittipaldo with 5. Remember, we are now into the final qualification window. The Mexicans can't make it through to the World Cup finals. That dream has faded for them, but the Uruguayans have the chance of making it for the first time in over 30 years to the big show. The highest profile basketball tournament on the planet. The FIBA World Cup finals in China later this year. And here we go, the second quarter underway here in Monterrey. 10 minutes gone and Mexico lead it by 3 over Uruguay. Parodi, an offensive foul going to be called on Uruguay. They're certainly stuttering at the moment. Is Aguirre called for the moving screen? Maya now. Hands it to Avalos, back to Maya. Mexicans are quite confident offensively to keep the ball flowing. Estrada drives inside, little spin off to the right hand. Foul's going to be called. Parodi going to be called for that one. And Uruguay will make a change. As Estrada hits the first of his 2. And the second. The Mexican lead now out to 5 points. Rodríguez comes into the game for Barrera for Uruguay. Just 19 years old. Joaquín Rodríguez. Plenty of handle to him though. Vidal is going to be fouled by Maya. He's one of the debutants for Mexico. Hasn't played in these World Cup qualifiers so far. Dual citizenship for Colmeyer. He's actually born in San Diego in the United States of America. But also is eligible to play for the Mexican national team as well. A pretty good start to his World Cup. Estrada now tries to feed it down low to Pasos, but that angle of pass is always difficult. the shallower the angle, the more down the lane you have to go, the tougher the pass is and the tougher the collection is as well, because it can be put under an awful lot of pressure. Avalos now hands it off to Villanueva. Maya comes back out. Camacho, he hits the three, and Mexico are in full control now. 7-point lead, just over a minute gone in this second quarter. Sorry, 8-point lead. Pasos now in the low post, going up against Villanueva. Vidal behind the back, scoops his way to the basket, weaves his way through, but the pass is astray. Camacho now. Maya, fake, pass, good skip. Wonderful team offense here from Mexico, my goodness me! You'll not see better team basketball than that in the entire World Cup qualifiers. Completely unselfish offense. Coach Diniz will be exceptionally proud of his team for that possession. Exactly how the game of basketball should be played. Foul's going to be called there on Maya, though. Love to see that play make the highlight reel. I'm not sure it will, but look how unselfish this is. Pass after pass after pass. We see the last couple there. But a wonderful phase of offense for Mexico. Beautiful basketball. Uruguay will make the change as Cafani will come back into the action. Pasos will go to the bench. Waxman's also come in. As Izaguirre takes a seat. And Uruguay are very stagnant at the moment. They look a little bit shell-shocked. Calfani from range. But the iron just spits that one away. Estrada now for Mexico. How much confidence has this Mexican team now got? Offensive foul is going to be called, and rightfully so. Calfani took a stand. Good defense. Frustration from the Mexican player. Camacho just leaning in, trying to push Calfani away with his head, and you're never going to get away with it. Not that obviously anyway. Waxman now drives the baseline. The door's closed on him, but he comes back to the right-hand hook, grabs his own offensive rebound. Rodríguez drains the three. Big shot from the young man. Exactly what Uruguay needed at this point. Cuts the Mexican lead to 7. Estrada for Mexico, and he's being harassed by Rodríguez. Very quick feet and hands from the Uruguayan on the defensive end. Avalos, no good on the layup. And Rodríguez is out at the races. Has to throw up a bit of an awkward shot. Comes out to Vidal. Oh, another three. And in a snap of your fingers, the Uruguayans have reduced the Mexican lead to just 4 points. A wonderful comeback here from Uruguay. They looked like they were struggling offensively, and then back-to-back threes and sorted them out. Timeout called by Mexico. Let's jump into Coach Diniz's timeout huddle.
Nadie vota por votar. Mueva la pelota. Los 4, los 5. Hay que trabajar para recibir. Ellos niegan línea de pase con el 4. Ve, para no perderlo. Bueno.
As you'd expect, pretty calm timeouts at the moment from both sides, but Uruguay, bit of a renaissance for them on the back of that Rodríguez three. Vidal dropped the three as well. And that has brought them the Mexicans lead down to just 4 points now. 6:36 left in this second quarter. And the Mexicans were starting to take control of the game. Oh, a quick steal from Vidal, and he gets it to go in the lay-in. And the Mexicans' control has seemed to have disintegrated here. Mid stages of this second quarter, Benitez now looking to barrel his way to the basket. That's going to be a turnover. Travel violation for the big man. Good defense by Waxman. Just keep moving his feet, re-establishing himself. Forcing Benitez into the travel. Vidal has certainly helped Uruguay find some form. Waxman to the basket. He's fouled by Benitez. Earns himself a trip to the line. And this is where the matchup problems might happen. For me, Benitez should be rolled out when Batista's on the court. There's a steal from Vidal. Benitez has caused Batista quite a few problems. Similar players, and Batista likes to almost bully his defender around, but he's going to struggle to bully someone the size of Benitez around. But Waxman's a little bit more of a wiry, mobile player, and you have a feeling Benitez is going to struggle to guard a player like that. It'd be better rotating him out. The issue they've got, though, is obviously Zisati picked up 3 early fouls in the first quarter and is having a prolonged period in the bench. Mexican lead just 1 now, 26 to Mexico, 25 to Uruguay. Martínez hits the 3. Couldn't have timed that one any better. Wonderful form on the wing. Cafani sets the screen for Vidal. Little hesitation, and the lane opened up for him. He should have taken the layup, doesn't take it. Gets the ball back in the corner for a 3, though. Oh, now's another 3. And it is very, very quickly indeed becoming the Santiago Vidal show. He's up to 8 points in a hurry. Benitez hands it off for Mexico. Into the hands of Álvarez. And Mexico are off track. Rodríguez now. Back to Vidal, the man of the moment for Uruguay. Waxman sets the screen and rolls. Sets another one for him. Frees up Vidal. Nice pass. Waxman's going to be fouled, though. Wonderful vision by Santiago Vidal. Vidal's only averaging 5.4 points, 2.5 assists a game. He's certainly playing above that here this evening in Monterrey. Waxman's going to go back to the line for more shots as Álvarez picks up his first foul of the game, and Mexico's in the bonus now. This could be an opportunity for Uruguay to claim some control over it. Waxman's 69% prior to tonight's game from the free throw line. The Olympia big man playing his 5th World Cup qualifier. Provides wonderful support from the bench in the front court for Uruguay. Frustrated at his shooting, though. Could have picked quite a few countries to play for, could Kirill Waxman. He's got American, German, Spanish and Uruguayan nationalities. He's worn the blue of Uruguay, though, now. And he certainly is an important member of their roster. Uruguay increasing the intensity on the defensive end, and that usually shows a sign of a team that are ready to take some control. Camacho now for 3, and he hits it. Mexico continue to fight their way in this game from the perimeter. They're 5 from 11 now from outside. Camacho goes up to 9 points personal. 2 big triples so far in this game. Almost stolen away. Parodi behind the back. Calfani, little fake, drives inside. Waxman has his shot blocked from behind, but he's fouled. That one's going to get chalked up against Martínez. And this game is gradually heating up. Performance level from both teams is gradually increasing. Intensity on both ends is increasing as the game increases, and we're going to have a timeout at this point. 3:57 left in the second quarter. Mexico hold on to their 4-point lead. Mexico 32, Uruguay 28. And time for the Mexican coaching staff to talk things over. Coach Ivan Deniz wants to tinker with his team. Let's jump into the huddle.
Damos situación ahora de presión. El que va a sacar es Víctor. Ok, se va a quedar Jorge para ayudar. Tú, Fer, tú te vas. Ok, se queda Jorge, se queda Luke y Cachu y tú te quedas en el medio. Pase, Jorge Cortina para Luke y devolvemos a Víctor y nos vamos. Vamos, y aquí jugamos 3. Hay que trabajar para recibir. Niegan con el 2, niegan con el 3, niegan con el 4. Timing para recibir. Ok, importante esperar la cortina para que no sea falta ofensiva.
Si la rompiste, si vienes a un segundo, te va a agarrar por atrás, te va a empujar, hay falta. Si tú regresas.
Ellos ahora,
sí, yo me voy a quedar con
ellos con Víctor juegan pick y repick. En el segundo hay switch, y hay que hacer triple switch con Víctor.
Víctor, ¿sí?
Unbelievable shooting statistic there on the screen for you. Mexico actually 7 from 10 from range, 70% from the perimeter. And Uruguay aren't too shabby themselves, 43%, 6 from 14 for Uruguay. Unbelievable amount of this game is being played from distance. As we enter the final 4 minutes here of this second quarter. And it is critical what momentum you take into the locker room at the half-time. It really can change the conversations that the team have in the changing rooms, and in turn have quite a big impact on the flow of the game when the teams return. Waxman's now back for the second of his 2 free throws. Up to 3 points personal, along with the 3 rebounds he's got, and a little over 4 minutes of action. And the Mexican lead is down to just 2 points now, and it's almost thrown away into the hands of Álvarez. He floats to the basket. He's off target with the finger roll off the glass, though. And Uruguay have an opportunity to take the lead. Fittipaldo now hands it off to Waxman. He asked for the foul, but no foul called. Benitez rips down the rebound. This time Fittipaldo is going to be called for the foul. First foul of the game for Fittipaldo. Third team foul of the quarter for Uruguay. Mexico already in team fouls for this quarter. Martínez hands it off to Camacho. To Álvarez, to Benitez, and the foul's going to be called on Batista for the push. Looks like a little bit of a light call, but the officials setting their stall out for what contact they're going to allow and what they're not. Batista again encroaching over the sideline. You wonder how long the officials will put up with that. Álvarez now uses the Benitez screen. Martínez trying to shake some space, pulls the trigger on the 3. He's off target. And Batista pulls down the rebound for Uruguay. Pace of the game has slowed down slightly now, a little bit cagey again. Batista wants to back his way to the basket, comes back out, receives it back in. He wants to go against Benitez and wait to see the call. And Benitez could have known that one was going to come. He'd had a light touch call at the other end. They're going to keep it consistent. The referees will set their stall out. As Machado comes back into the game. Batista misses the first of his 2. Only 60% from the line, Esteban Batista, so far in the qualifiers. Averaging 17.1 points per game. 9.9 rebounds per game. leading Uruguay in both scoring and boards. Had a big game in the reverse of this fixture. 18 points, 8 rebounds back in game day 8. When Uruguay faced Mexico. Martínez receives the handoff. Comes back out to Machado. Into Benítez. Benítez now looking to back down Batista. Throws it away instead. And this is where Benítez potentially could be a slight weak link. He's not an offensive focus. His primary role on the floor is going to be locked down Batista. But that does mean you have a slight weak link on the offensive end. Rodríguez now drives baseline, comes back out to Batista. Batista drives inside himself, floats up high, but can't quite get the length on the finger roll. Álvarez now comes back out to Benítez. He's going to hand it off to Martínez. Martínez for 3! Oh, Lucas Martínez is feeling it here tonight. That's his 3rd triple of the game. He's up to 9 points. Mexico lead back to 4. Waxman now receives the pass on the wing to Parodi. It's almost stolen away. It is stolen away. Wonderful play by Mexico. And Álvarez just floats up and drops the ball home. The crowd are enjoying that. They like to see the Mexican lead back out to 6. Under 90 seconds left in this second quarter. Parodi for 3! Big play by Luciano Parodi. An offensive foul is going to be called now on Martínez. Starting to get a little bit more tasty on the hardwood. Coach Diniz is not happy with the call. Neither are the fans in the stands. Let's see the replay now. Fittipaldo's made the most of that, that's for sure. That said, Martínez shouldn't have risen to it. Fittipaldo should get a warning, though, for delay of game. Holding on to the ball after a score. It should be a technical warning. Fittipaldo pulls the trigger on a 3. Find the basket with that attempt, though, and Parodi now has just lost control. Surely that's a travel. Yeah, it is. Turnover ball. A little bit of justice for the Mexicans, you feel, with that one. 1 minute 7 left in the second quarter. Parodi will head to the bench. In fact, both teams will head to the bench for a timeout called. 37 to Mexico, 34 to Uruguay. Very, very important phase of this one here in Monterrey. Understandably so, Coach Diniz wants to talk it over with his team. Take a little bit of the tempo out as well. Let's listen to his huddle. Wonderful defensive effort there from the Mexicans. Machado and Martínez combining for the steal and the breakaway lay-in. And that battle of the bigs is going to continue all night between Batista and Benítez. Neither player going to back down. You can pretty much guarantee that. Álvarez advances it over the floor for the Mexicans as we enter the final minute of this second quarter. Jose Gonzalez now has almost thrown it away as Martínez hits the deck. Fittipaldo once again mixing things up with Martínez. It's going to be a Mexican ball on the side. Just want to clean some of the sweat off the floor first. Make sure the players aren't slipping. 52.6 seconds left in this second quarter. And could be a crucial 52.6. Mexico potentially could extend their lead, or Uruguay could flip things and enter the half-time break with the lead themselves. Álvarez drives to the basket, skips it to the corner, wide open, Gonzalez for three! And that's exactly what we're talking about. Mexican lead out to 6 now. Tough to see Uruguay being able to take a lead to the half-time. Fittipaldo now feeds Batista in the low post, and he's going to travel. Shocked look on his face as he protests with the official. Not going to change the call though. 8th turnover of the game for Mexico. They won't be happy with that. Sorry, for Uruguay, the 6th. Mexico with 8. Neither team will be overly pleased with that number of turnovers. They want to protect the ball a bit better in the second half. Álvarez now for Mexico. About a 2.5 second differential between shot clock and game clock. Oh, he just floats inside. Wonderful, wonderful patience there from Víctor Álvarez. Such a young player to have such a mature head on his shoulders with that play. Just waited for the defense to give him something, and they did. They gave him a lane, and he skipped his way to the basket and extended the Mexican lead out to 8. Uruguay timeout. They want to make the most of the last few seconds they have. Let's jump into their huddle and listen to what they've got to say. Here's a replay, and as you see, Álvarez just waited for the defense to flex, to move. And, see what it offered him. Did it offer him the pass? No. It offered him the lane to the basket, and he took full advantage of it. 11.6 seconds left on the second quarter clock. 8-point lead for Mexico. Certainly not going to plan for Uruguay at the moment. What can they do with the last 10 seconds of this first half? Fittipaldo is going to drive to the basket. Corner for Rodríguez. 3! Now off target. That's all we're going to have in this first half. And what a wonderful first 20 minutes of basketball we have had here in Monterrey. At the halftime break, the Mexicans will be happy. Coach Diniz there will be happy. Mexico 42, Uruguay 34. 20 minutes gone, 20 minutes to go. Welcome back to Monterrey in Mexico for this FIBA World Cup qualifier between Mexico and Uruguay. We're halfway through this one, and the Mexicans lead it by 8. Mexico 42, Uruguay 34. And it's been a great first 20 minutes of action, and you have a feeling it's going to be an even better second 20 minutes. Uruguayans have been laid back on the floor. Plenty for their coaching team to talk through with them. I'm sure Coach Mañana has plenty of corrections that he's wanted to make in this half-time break. Remember, Uruguay is still fighting to try and make it through to the World Cup finals. For Mexico, that dream has already faded, I'm afraid. They can't make it through to the finals, but still plenty of pride to play for. And plenty of new faces in the roster as well, trying to stake their claim to future international call-ups. And we'll wait to see how things play out, but there's been some strong performances from the Mexicans here in Monterrey. They certainly want to give their crowd a good show, and they are so far. Coach Diniz will be relatively happy with his team's performance, leading by 8 against a strong Uruguayan team. It's a good first 20 minutes of work at the office for them. Remember, for Uruguay, this will all come down to Sunday's game against Puerto Rico. If they win or lose here, but win on Sunday against Puerto Rico, it means that they'll take the head-to-head against Puerto Rico and they'll advance to the World Cup finals for the first time in over 30 years. However, if they were to lose that game on Monday against Puerto Rico, it will mean that their only way of getting there would be the best 4th placed team in the Americas qualification phase. And therefore, a win here tonight could be absolutely critical for Uruguay. Sees the travelling fans there and what it means to them. Both teams back into their huddles now, prepping for this second half. Let's listen to the final thoughts of Coach Diniz. Pretty clear directions from both coaching teams. And do Uruguay have enough in the locker to overturn this 8-point deficit in the second half? Plenty of talent on show here tonight, and it's another one of those wonderful international games of basketball that we've been lucky enough to enjoy under this new qualification process for the World Cup finals. More basketball, more often around the world, and well, pretty much that can't be a bad thing. Only has to be good. Here we go then, the start of the second half here in Monterrey in Mexico. At the half-time break, the Mexicans hold an 8-point lead over Uruguay. Mexico 42, Uruguay 34. Machado now into the corner. No good for Martínez. The rebound battle is going to be won by Calfani. Pass inside to Batista, and Benitez is asleep on that one. You can't afford to snooze around Esteban Batista. Álvarez now for Mexico. Hands it off to Martínez. To Zizati. Zizati not had the best of starts to the game. Picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter. The shot's no good for Álvarez though, and it's going to be Uruguayan ball. A bit of a stuttering start to the second half for Mexico. They'll need to get back into some rhythm pretty quickly, otherwise the Uruguayans will make them pay. Just an untied shoelace to be dealt with. And we're underway again with Parodi advancing the ball for Uruguay. Calfani now goes to Barrera. Barrera inside to Batista. Quick ball movement here by Uruguay. Nice spin move to the basket. Hands it off. And Batista, misses the wide open layup. Unusual mistake from Esteban Batista. Martínez comes back out to Zizati. Back to Martínez. Into the low post Machado. Benitez now comes back out to Martínez, and this is good ball movement, but they're going to have to take the shot, and they do, and they hit the three. A wonderful shot as the shot clock was expiring for Machado. Oh, what a pass. That's out of the top drawer from Gustavo Barrera. The no-look pass rifled into Batista. Stolen away now by Parodi, and the Uruguayans are lighting up this third quarter so far. Oh, I've jinxed them with that one as Parodi overthrows the pass cross-court. Forces a turnover, and the Mexicans will get the ball back. Álvarez hands it off to Benitez. Back out to Álvarez. Machado into the corner to Zisati. It's no good from range. Parodi now, little crossover inside, hands it off to Batista. Uruguay will be patient on the offensive end again. Barrera, little shake to get some space. Floats it inside to Batista. Batista uses his body well. And Esteban Batista has really started this second half well. Struggled in the first half, only scored 3 points in the entire first half. He's already got 6 here in just 3 minutes of action of the third quarter. Martínez hits another 3. And he's enjoying himself here tonight. He's up to 12 points personal now, 4 from 6 from the perimeter. Wonderful shooting from Martínez. That foul's going to be called on Machado. First foul of the game for him, and first foul of the quarter for Mexico as well. It's not really been a high foul game so far. I have a feeling that might change as we get to the clutch phase of the game. Oh, nice, easy jump shot there for Fittipaldo. Little fake, freed up enough space for him to take his time. Zisati now comes back to Álvarez, who hands it off to Machado, who tries to thread the eye of the needle, but fortunately the eye of the needle closed for him and couldn't get the ball through to Martínez. So it'll be a baseline ball for Mexico. Martínez goes across to inbound it. Foul's going to be called on Parodi, roughing up Álvarez as he comes across the lane. Second team foul of the quarter for Mexico now. Three fouls on Parodi, that could be a problem. Doesn't want to pick up a fourth too soon as he harangues Álvarez. Álvarez looks to skip it back out, but it's intercepted. Wonderful pass. Out on the break. Oh, with the putback. No, waved away. Offensive interference with the basket. Big call by the official. The score is waved away as Vidal comes back into the game, and Vidal, probably one of the only Uruguayan players that can say they were happy with their first half shift. Managed to put up 8 points in his first half, only under 7 minutes played as well. Good production from him. Benitez just about holds on to it. Nope, can only manage to throw it out of bounds as he tries to rescue it. Long pass now to Batista. He loses the handle and kicks the ball. Good sportsmanship there from Esteban Batista as he helps Benitez back to his feet, and it's not an easy task. He's a big guy, Benitez. An interesting start to the second half here. Neither team really taking control of proceedings. Mexico still hold a 6-point lead, 5:47 left in this third quarter. You really just do have that feeling that it needs a team to take the game almost by the scruff of the collar and wrestle it into submission, because neither team at the moment are. It's a bit pity-patty. Fittipaldo is going to be called for that foul. Second team foul of the quarter for Mexico. And you do feel that the team that can grab hold of this, sorry for Uruguay, the team that can grab hold and control of this game in this third quarter could potentially open up quite a lead. Machado now slows it down for Mexico. Hands it back to Álvarez. Álvarez to Martínez, and Mexico continue to be patient. 5 seconds left on the shot clock though. Benitez puts up a mid-range, grabs his own offensive rebound. Martínez is fouled quite hard by Batista. Batista chasing the shot out. One of the simpler calls for the officials to make on that one. Yeah, Batista just huge amount of body contact as he advances on the defense. Martínez will make his way to the line. Prior to this game, hadn't missed a free throw. There's the jinx for you. Bizarrely enough for Martínez, his biggest game was against Uruguay last time out on game day 8 back in September. 10 points, 4 boards for him. He's outdone that tonight, already at 12 points, 4 from 8 shooting. All of those points up to this stage had come from the perimeter. That's his first point inside the arc, and it was from the free throw line. Batista now up against Benitez. Nice skip pass to the corner. Strong drive inside, and Vidal's going to draw the foul. That one's going to be called on Álvarez. Vidal earns himself a trip to the line as Mexico pick up their second foul of the quarter, and Uruguay will make a change as they bring Subebel into the action. And this is Subebel's first World Cup qualifier. Plays for Malvin in the Uruguayan league. As Vidal misses the first of his 2 free throws. Only 67% in the qualifiers before tonight from the line. Connects with the second. He's had a very, very good game so far, though, has Santiago Vidal. He's up to 9 points now. Machado hands it off to Álvarez. Álvarez just puts on the jets and blasts inside. Zisati now is off target, and Benitez does a great job on the offensive boards. Álvarez was open for the 3, doesn't take it, floats inside but throws it away. 2-on-1 break for Uruguay now. Vidal, oh, wonderful play, but can't get the lane to go. What will Mexico do at the other end? Zisati, finger roll is good. Mexico break through to 51 points now. First points on the board for Zisati. 8-point lead for Mexico. Just over 4 minutes left in this third quarter. Uruguay are yet to find any rhythm. Batista now driving to the basket. Comes back out. Wide open shot is no good and falls straight into the hands of Benitez. Herrera comes up short. Álvarez now. Going to use the screen set by Benitez. No, he goes right and skips the pass back to Machado. Oh, nice backdoor cut, but it's kicked away by Calfani for Uruguay. So it's still going to be a Mexican ball on the sideline. Not sure if it's off the leg or foot. If it's off the leg, it'll stay at 8 seconds on the shot clock. Off the foot will reset out to 14. Looks like it was off the leg. 3:37 left now in this third quarter as Waxman comes back into the action for Uruguay. Certainly caused some issues for Mexico, Waxman, in that first half. Slightly more wiry style of play than Batista is. Into the corner now. Oh, and the jumper is good to go. One had to fall for him in the end. Zisati with the 3. And the Mexican lead is out to double digits. 11-point lead for Mexico. Waxman needs to be careful. Sensible move just to put your arms up, saying, I'm not getting involved, I'm not being physical. It was just momentum that drew him through. Foul's been called. We'll wait to see how that's cleared up with the officials, who that one's been allocated against. But it's going to be a baseline ball for Uruguay, whoever it's chalked up against. That one's on Álvarez. Ball is into Waxman. Vidal looks to drive the baseline, steps back out. Will change of direction from Vidal. Draws some body contact. Tries to use the glass, but can't quite get it. Waxman pulls down a 1v4 offensive rebound, but travels with it as he stumbles out to try and secure full possession. He works so hard on the glass. Waxman is an absolute warrior there. 1v3 as he then travels as he steps out. And that's the foul that was called on Álvarez, and it always looks a little bit worse when you've got such a size differential as you have between Waxman and Álvarez. Myers come back into the game for Mexico. Certainly had an impact in that first half when he played. Martínez now. Wait to see what that is. The foul's going to be called. Wonderful sportsmanship there from Gustavo Barrera, helping Martínez to his feet as he stumbles through. It could have been nasty if he caught himself on the ad board, but thankfully he didn't. Take a trip to the line for two, though, as Barrera picks up his third foul. Solve the Mexicali is Lucas Martinez's club team in the Mexican top league. Certainly had a good game today. His best of the qualifiers, in fact, as he's up to 15 points personal now. Most of them coming from the three-point range, but also picked up 3 free throws now as well. Barrera to inbound to Vidal as Mexico apply a little bit of full court pressure. Just trying to run some clock, really, not trying to steal the ball, just trying to burn a little bit of the shot clock. Gonzalez is going to be called for the foul, as I'm not sure who he's fouled. I'll wait to see what was called on. I think it was Subebiel. Fafani comes back. And the ball's moved well around the top by Uruguay. Everyone's taking control for the Uruguayans at the moment, though. There's no real focus offensively. Vidal will take the shot, but it's in and out with his attempt. Probably the most likely candidate is Santiago Vidal at the moment. He's on 9 points. Maya now. Oh, nice. Tough move to the basket for Estrada. Just had a little hesitation in the last step there, which just freed up enough space for him to almost slither his way through to the basket. Vidal now goes to the wing. Oh, nice little step through by Subebiel. Villanueva comes back to Gonzalez, who's fouled by Waxman. And at the moment, you don't feel like Uruguay really have an answer for what Mexico are doing. I can't even really give you words what Mexico are doing. They're just playing nice, tough basketball on both ends of the floor, being quite physical on the defensive end, high tempo. On the offensive end, pretty smart the way they're playing the game. They're moving the ball well, and they're using some speed and athleticism to pick their way through the Uruguayan defense as Borsellini comes in for Waxman. And Camacho will come back into the game for Mexico as well. Coach Diniz has potentially plotted a wonderful win for Mexico here if they can hold out for the next 11 minutes and 24 seconds. They're up by 13. Remember, they lost by 3 in the return of this fixture back in game day 8. That was in Uruguay, obviously, with this one being in Monterrey in Mexico. And Gonzalez hits the first of his free throws. The veteran wing brings plenty of experience to the national team with him. Gets the second to roll as well. And Mexico's lead extends out to 15. Biggest lead of the game for Mexico now, and they continue to apply some full court pressure. They want to burn some of that 24-second clock of Uruguay, and it's worked. Already down to 12 seconds now. Barrera, not sure where that pass was going. There was absolutely no one near where the pass went. It went with speed. He certainly had something in mind when he zipped it. But that's the 11th turnover of the game for Uruguay. Neither team will be overly happy with how they've protected the ball. Maya now. Drives inside, no options for him to pass. Has to come back out to Gonzalez. Gonzalez goes to Camacho. Camacho tries to find Estrada. Estrada's not on track with that little right-hand teardrop that he tries to put in. Oh, now that is a good pass. Wonderful vision from Barrera to a cutting Calfani. Maya now. Machado. Camacho to Estrada. Back inside to Camacho, but it's intercepted by Subebiel. Calfani with a little shake, trying to find some space, but has to come back out. Barrera will slow it down. Goes up against Maya. Into the corner. And the rebounding battle is going to be won as the third quarter clock falls out by Mexico. And Mexico have done a wonderful job in that third quarter. They've outscored. They've outscored Uruguay 18-13 in that third quarter. That's extended their lead out to 13. Mexico 60, Uruguay 47. Only 10 minutes of this one left to go. Welcome back to Monterrey in Mexico for this FIBA World Cup qualifier between Mexico and Uruguay. 3 quarters down, and the Mexicans lead this one by 13. 60-47 over Uruguay. And look at those shooting percentages. Absolutely unbelievable shooting from the perimeter by Mexico. They've really done a wonderful job from range. 12 from 19 from 3. They're shooting 63% from distance. They're only shooting 42% inside. They're much better at shooting the ball from range than they are from close up. Wonderful, wonderful display by Mexico. That said, the Uruguayans aren't doing too badly. They're 7 from 20, 35% from the perimeter. But they look a little bit lost at the moment. 3 quarters down, and the Mexicans are in control of this one. Uruguay really have no answer at the moment. That man there may need to provide them with an answer in the final 10 minutes. Remember, for Uruguay, this game could be critically important. If they aren't able to beat Puerto Rico on Monday, it will come down to whether they're the best 4th placed team in the Americas qualifiers. And a loss tonight would make it a lot harder for them to be that best 4th placed team. So plenty to play for Uruguay. Mexico, they can't make it through to the World Cup finals. Believe it or not, based on their display so far today, you wouldn't think that'd be the case, but that's where we sit. So here we go, the final 10 minutes of action here in Monterrey in Mexico. The Mexicans lead by 13. Have the Uruguayans got anything to answer what has been a strong performance from the Mexicans? Calfani now goes inside, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Borsalino. A little bit too much use of the shoulder. And the Mexicans knew it was coming because he'd just done it about a second beforehand. Maya now with the ball for Mexico. Jinks his way up over the half. Oh, and it's stolen away by Vidal. Quick hands, and he's out at the races. He's going to try and draw the foul. Instead, passes it behind for the two-handed flush. Wonderful, unselfish play by Santiago Vidal. The behind-the-back pass to Calfani for the score on the flush. But the foul's going to be called, and here is the foul as Calfani tries to stop the pass with his foot, and there's the steal from Vidal, and you can see he was trying to secure the foul off Maya. Looks behind him and sees a trailing Calfani. Nice pass from Vidal. Little weave here from the Mexicans as they try and find space. Estrada to the basket. It's too heavy-handed, but the rebound is good for Villanueva. They're saying it's basket interference. A lot of finger wagging from the Uruguayans saying it's not. I think the score has been given. I think the point from the officials is that there was contact with either the net or the ring. You can knock the ball away, obviously, but it has to be clean. You need to sweep it off the ring. You can't catch the ring or the net on your way. And Izaguirre is going to come into the game for Uruguay. He's just waiting patiently. You can see how much he wants in. Just waiting for that position to be clarified. It looks like the score's been given. Yep. Camacho with the offensive board and the score. And the lead is back to 13 for Mexico. Vidal now. Trying to find some space in front of him. Nice crossover. Comes back out to Izaguirre. Izaguirre hands it off to Rodríguez. Rodríguez almost has it stolen away. But the foul has been called. That one on Machado. He's not happy with the call. Either way, it's going to be the first team foul of the quarter for Mexico. 8:36 to play here in Monterrey. Rodríguez gets it back. Hesitation, tries to feed the pass inside. That is a lovely bounce pass, but it's unable to be scored. No, Borsalino. Man out with the ball at the top. Foul's going to be called. That one's going to be called on Borsalino. He certainly come into the game and tried to rough it up a bit. 2 fouls in this quarter for Borsalino. 1 offensive, 1 defensive. Baseline ball by Meyer. And it's stolen away. Poor pass by Meyer. A little bit slow and lazy on that pass, and Uruguay will capitalise. Vidal now. Nice pass inside. Quick skip to Rodríguez. He's off left with that shot. Izaguirre crashed the offensive boards hard and has managed to keep possession for Uruguay. Oh, it might look like it actually came off Izaguirre. Okay, the Uruguayans have got away with one there. Borsalino comes back out to Rodríguez. Rodríguez now tries to feed it inside, but the pass is off target. And the Mexicans take it away. Under 8 minutes to go. And Mexico still in firm control of this one. Álvarez comes back out to Estrada. Estrada picks his way into the paint, but the door's quickly closed on him. Oh, that's a lovely shot from Álvarez. You wouldn't have put money on him making that one. He picked the dribble up. The defense had locked in on him. Rose above the defense to drop the 3. He's up to 13 points. 75% from the perimeter as well. It's a great game for Víctor Álvarez. Only his 2nd senior cap for the 22-year-old. Vidal slows it down as Mexico now lead by 16. Into the corner for Izaguirre. That's an air ball, and it's come off Borsalino. And at the moment, the Uruguayans look all at sea. And certainly aren't going their way. And they're going to need to go their way pretty soon if they're going to win this one. And it could make a dent in their hopes of making it to the World Cup finals in China. Oh, that's thrown away by Álvarez this time, though. Just a very easy misplaced pass for Parodi to pick off. Parodi now. Ah, he hits the 3 in the game and in for an impact straight away. Uruguay pressing full court. Estrada picks his way through it, though. Gets it up over the half just in time. And Mexico, you have a feeling are going to have a little bit of time management now. Burn some of the clock down. Camacho, another almost steal from the Uruguayans, and they've raised the tempo. Long shot from Machado is no good, and you can't expect him to be any good from that kind of range. Mexicans need to be careful. There's always a fine balancing act between time management, running down some of that clock, giving Uruguay less possessions, and actually finding some good open opportunities. It's pretty easy to burn 24 seconds off. It's a little bit more difficult to burn 24 seconds off and get a good shot opportunity at the end of the shot clock. Parodi now passes to the wing, and the foul is going to be called on Machado as Izaguirre barrels his way to the basket afterwards. Flattening Camacho on the way. Quite lucky, really, because Izaguirre would have been called for an offensive foul if that play had continued. Instead, Izaguirre will go to the line for 2 shots. I'm not sure I understand how that's a shooting foul. The officials have called it. He hadn't picked up his dribble. He was still well on the way to the basket. But he connects with both free throws. His first points of the game, and Mexican lead is down to 11 now. And this is what we're talking about. If you start managing the clock, start burning some time off it, sometimes lose your impetus, your momentum on the offensive end, and it can cost you dearly. Álvarez now looking to feed the post. Instead comes back to the top to Martínez. Pass comes out to Martínez. He's going to have to shoot the 3. It's a tough shot again right at the end of the shot clock, which is great in some ways, but you don't want just tough shots. You do need to score. They're not going to win the game if they don't score between now and the end. And there's another score for Uruguay as Borsellino finds it easy inside. And as you'd expect, timeout has been called as the Mexican lead drops into single digits. 65-56 in favor of Mexico over Uruguay, and Coach Diniz wants to call a timeout and talk it over. Let's jump into that Mexican huddle and hear what they've got to say.
Con Fernando y el Kylo para meter el balón dentro. Fernando se va a quedar con un pequeño. ¿Estamos? Víctor, después de canasta que saque él. ¿Qué? Jorge, ¿tú te quedas? Luke, Actor. Y aquí jugamos con José. ¿Qué?
Feeling that the Uruguayans, for the first time in a long time, feel that they're in the ascendancy here, that they're starting to take control of proceedings, and that if they carry on the same path, they could come away with an absolutely valuable win on the road here in Monterrey, Mexico. For the Mexicans, things are starting to slip. They need to go back to the original game plan. There to secure the win. Álvarez now feeds Benitez in the low post. Benitez goes to work, comes back out, almost throws it away. Camacho picks it up. Shot clock down to 9. Backdoor pass to Álvarez. Oh, nothing but net for Álvarez, and for the Mexican fans, that's a sight for sore eyes. Seeing a shot go through. Technical foul is going to be called, and the Uruguayan coach needs to be careful. He's going to get tossed out of the game if he's not careful. He's encroaching on the floor. He's continuing to bark at the officials. He needs to be very, very careful now. Coach Mañana. And this is going to cost him as he sends Martínez to the line. Scores the first. Just the one, and it's going to be a Uruguayan ball on the sideline. Coach Mañana needs to be careful. He's still not calmed down. And it's getting his team in the same way. Fittipaldo on his feet on the bench there. Nice drive inside by Parodi, and one! And Nicolas Borsellino draws the foul from Benitez. Gets a chance to convert the and-one play from the line. Bring the Mexican lead back down to single digits if he does. And you can see how much noise is being made in the crowd now as the camera starts to shake. Oh, they get the offensive rebound and another foul is going to be called. The Mexicans failed to lock down their own board there. Back to the line for Uruguay. Subebiel playing his first World Cup qualifier. Makes the first of his 2 free throws. Not a bad first outing for him as he misses a second. He's got 3 points, 3 assists, 2 boards. Martínez now has it stolen away and Uruguay are in full flow. Subebiel now goes to the side. Parodi slows it down. Oh, nice little change of pace is enough to get in the space to get the shot away. It's off right. And thankfully for the Mexicans, Martínez is there to scoop up the rebound. They're going to double him though. And Estrada is fouled by Izaguirre. World Cup qualifiers have been the first caps for Estrada. This is cap number 4 for him, averaging 6 points per game. Caminos Victoria is his team in Mexico, representing them here for the national team. I'm sure there's plenty of pride from their fans. Martínez with the 3! And he has been such a big player for Mexico tonight. 19 points for him. And is that a little bit of a nail in the coffin for Uruguay? Parodi, and it's followed up by Borsellino. Reduces the Mexican lead back down to 10. Under 4 minutes to play though. Can the Uruguayans do more? Martínez to Estrada to Benitez, and the Mexicans still patient on the offensive end. Shot clock down to 6 now. Inside to Benitez, something's going to have to go up, and it does in the end, and it's good to go! Foul is called, and you can see Coach Diniz on the bench, turning around to the fans and asking them to get their feet, make more noise for your team. Wonderful, wonderful scenes, as Mexico could pick up a massive win here against Uruguay. Shot clock was running down at this stage. It went inside to Benitez. He was locked down with a double team. And it came back out. And amongst that, Parodi gets called for the unsportsmanlike foul as well. That sends Benitez to the line, and he obliges. Connects with both of his free throws, and Mexico get possession. Is that too much now for Uruguay to fight back in? 3 minutes, 33 seconds to go. Mexico lead by 14 as Izaguirre comes back into the action. Álvarez now. And you have a feeling the Mexicans are going to slow things down even more. Martínez with an almost impossible shot. Benitez with a huge rebound. Just barreled his way in to claim that one. Comes back out to Benitez. Shot clock down to 5. Long shot from Víctor Álvarez is good. And the Mexicans are flying right about now. 17-point lead. What a wonderful phase of play for Mexico. Their confidence is high. You see the smiles on the faces. Benitez is enjoying his basketball. Parodi is back at the line for 2 shots. And it's back to the drawing board for Coach Magnano. 17 points, just over 3 minutes to drag their way back into this one, Uruguay. And it's a huge game for them. This could be the difference between making it to the World Cup finals or not. If they come down to not beating Puerto Rico and trying to fight it to be the 4th best team in the Americas, a loss tonight would put a big dent in that. Álvarez inbounds the ball to Estrada and gets it back pretty quickly. We're into the final 3 minutes now. 15-point lead for Mexico. Pass to Benitez. He's going up against Waxman. And one! Fernando Benitez has come to play. Big play by him. Uses his body, uses his strength. Waxman hasn't got much to offer other than the foul. Benitez comes up short on the bonus though. But the Mexican lead is at 17. As Parodi almost out of control, but manages to just about salvage the situation, hold on to possession. As the crowd here are singing and enjoying this game to its fullest roundabout now. Wonderful scenes. Rodríguez now, a little step back, nothing there. As Aguirre finds Parodi. Parodi with the crossover, has to come back out. Oh, nice shot from range from Martel Subebiel. That's exactly what Uruguay needed. He's taking the singing out of the stands, that's for sure. Estrada now steps inside, free throw jumper, gets it to go, and that is a very difficult shot. He was being crowded out, manages to get a nice high arc on his shot. Wonderful splash of the string, Rodríguez for 3. Uruguay will not lie down. They're going to battle to the end. 13-point lead for Mexico. 1:43 left on the game clock. Surely not enough time for Uruguay to fight into this one. If it is, they need to be applying a bit more pressure than they are now. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Álvarez baseline, little scoop is good. Wonderful play from Álvarez. He's up to 20 points personal now. Wonderful game for him. Parodi inside is fouled. I think that one's going to be on Estrada. As the singing continues in the stands, and you can't blame them. Their team lead by 15 with a little over a minute to play. They're certainly enjoying it on the bleachers. Parodi now hits the first of his 2 free throws. He's up to 18 points, and he's one of the few bright lights for Uruguay in this game. Estrada being pressed with a 1-2-2 press, but that's quickly broken down. Estrada going up against Subebiel. Long shot from Martínez, and I don't need to tell you what's happened. He's drained the 3 as he pumps the 3 fingers in the air for the crowd. Final minute of this one, and Mexico have put in an unbelievable performance here against Uruguay. Long 3 from Parodi is no good. And Mexico will certainly celebrate what has been a great game here. Álvarez steps out of bounds though, so turnover. Look at that shooting percentage from range for the Mexicans. It really has won them the game. They're shooting 16 from 25, 64% from the perimeter for Mexico. Unbelievable performance. Waxman now looking to back his way inside the paint. Skips it to the corner. Rodríguez gathers himself, a couple of fakes, and draws the foul. It's a very old head on young shoulders for Joaquín Rodríguez, just 19 years old. Plays for Aguada in the Uruguayan League, but the noise is being made for the Mexican team, and rightfully so. They have played out of their skins here this evening. And they're going to leave with a very, very big win. They might not be making it to the World Cup finals, but they're still making waves on international basketball. And this will set them up nicely for their last game of the qualifiers on Monday when they take on Panama. How they'd love to finish off this qualification campaign with a brace of wins. They're on a 5-game losing streak at the moment, and they've snapped that one here this evening. As Rodríguez connects from the line and takes himself up to 8 points personal. But the lead is too much. 28.5 seconds to play. 13-point lead for Mexico. 87-74. And we certainly have been spoilt with a wonderful game here this evening in Monterrey. Ball inbounded to Estrada. Comes back to Álvarez, to Martínez. And that duo of Álvarez and Martínez certainly have done a job here today. Martínez just running the clock down, about a 4-second differential between shot clock and game clock. And Parodi is going to come over and foul him. You could feel the frustration that Parodi felt. I think he felt that Martínez maybe was being a bit cheeky. But that's going to send Martínez to the line with 8.3 seconds left to play. And that's going to send Parodi to the bench. And Vidal will come back in. Martínez now at the line for 2 free throws. It's just 4 from 7 from the line. If there's a weakness in his game, that's it. He's actually shooting 3-pointers better than he is free throws. 6 from 9 from the perimeter for Martínez. Drains the second though, and Mexico will have the final 8 seconds of the game to run down. Rodríguez will shoot the 3 and hit the 3. The young man has performed well today. One of the bright sparks for Uruguay. But that's all we've got for you here in Monterrey. And Mexico pick up a big, big win against Uruguay. Mexico 88, Uruguay 77. That certainly wasn't what the form book was predicting. But we have been spoilt here by a wonderful performance by the Mexicans. What you have to bear in mind with this performance as well is that the Mexicans actually had 5 players playing their first game in the qualifiers, which begs the question, why weren't these guys playing earlier in this qualification campaign? Maybe they would have made it through to the World Cup finals. For Uruguay, they still have a chance of making it to the finals, but it's going to go down to the wire for them. It all falls on Monday's game against Puerto Rico. That's in Puerto Rico. If the Uruguayans can win that game against Puerto Rico, they'll secure 3rd spot in the group. If they lose it, they'll be left trying to find the best 4th place team in the Americas. And this loss here tonight could have affected that monumentally. But the Mexicans in the crowd will certainly celebrate the win tonight. It's been a great performance from the Mexicans as well. They've certainly deserved the win. It hasn't been lucky by any stretch of the imagination. They put in a big, big performance. There's your percentages. 64% from the perimeter for the Mexicans, 41% from Uruguay. Neither team too shabby from range. Both putting in great performances. Rebounding battles slightly won by the Mexicans. But the Uruguayans with 9 offensive boards is pretty impressive. Mexicans won't be happy with the turnovers though. 18 to Uruguay's 15. Neither team will be pretty happy with the turnovers. Should really keep it down to near as 10 as you can. Here's your game leaders. Martínez leading all scorers with 23 points. Parodi with 18. Waxman 7 boards. Benitez 8 boards. Álvarez 7 assists. Barrera 5 assists. We've been absolutely spoilt with a wonderful game here in Monterrey this evening. Certainly one to remember for a while. The Mexicans just playing for pride, and they've put in a big performance. Here's your leading scorers for Mexico. Martínez 23, Álvarez 20, Camacho 13. For Uruguay, it's Parodi 18, Rodríguez 12, and Vidal with 9. Here's how the group now looks. Argentina and the USA already qualified, but it's going to come down to that game on Monday between Puerto Rico and Uruguay.